what can I say? I mean, obviously I think every word in the report is true and wonderful and brilliantly written. I think people are welcome to their opinion. I'm not quite sure what they mean about more sizzle than steak. I mean, it's a pretty complete overview of the industry. What it doesn't look at is the really cheap end of the market. I'm not scoring bulk wines. I'm not scoring mass market, supermarket owned labels and things like that. Partly because I don't think they're that interesting to taste, but I don't really have the time. I'm tasting over 2,100 wines. And even spending a month here, that's a lot of wines. I divide that by 30 or 31 and we're looking at 75 wines or 80 wines a day, which is quite a rhythm to keep up. So I would argue that it's both sizzle and steak. I hope there's a little bit of sizzle coming off the steak, but there's plenty of steak there. I mean, the point is people tend to focus on the scores and this whole controversy surrounding score inflation and all that kind of stuff. I kind of wish they'd buy the report and look at the points I make in it, because I hope it's a reasonably good piece of journalism in that I'm looking at other issues that affect the industry. There's a 6,000 word introduction which looks at everything from land reform to the future of the new wave, to Chenin Blanc to Syrah, a little bit about the economy, a little about the rand, about the fine wine market. I hope it's a pretty complete overview of the industry. From my point of view, which is an outsider's point of view, but I hope a reasonably informed one. I've been coming here since 1990, so that gives me nearly 30 years of visiting the Cape, and now I'm coming at least twice a year and sometimes 3, and maybe this year even 4 times. So I hope it's, as I said, sizzle, but also plenty of steak and maybe some potatoes and some carrots and a bit of broccoli and something else, and I hope a good glass of wine. Certainly the stuff I do does measure up, and that's part of the problem, I think. The reason South African bulk wine is so popular is because it's actually pretty good. It's reliable. I mean, some of it's high cropped, but I think that, I'd rather taste bulk wine from South Africa than taste bulk wine from Bordeaux, for example, or something like that. It's a, broadly speaking, a Mediterranean climate with some cooler pockets within it. You can ripen most grapes well. Everything pretty much grows here. It's both a good thing for the industry, but also a bit of a negative point in a sense, that the bulk wine is so good, or so acceptable really, that how do you move people up from bulk wine to try other things? And South Africa still has this image as being, the kind of bargain basement, if you like, of the wine industry, and I sometimes refer to it as the kind of bargain dungeon of the world. And how do you get out of there? How do you rattle the bars, or get somebody, a jailer, if you like, to open the door and let you out? And I think that's what South Africa needs to be concentrating on, is yes, sell bulk wine if you need to keep the lights on and keep cellars moving and keep vineyards in the ground, but aim a little higher, just saying to open the door of that dungeon and just start climbing the steps. Well, I think obviously there are some people, younger producers, who have already made a name for themselves. David and Nadia Sadi would be good examples. I think Yolandi Fouché, what she's doing at Kluivenberg and with her own brand. There are so many good young winemakers. That's not what you need most of in this country. I mean, it's great to see them, and I think they're a very important part of the sizzle, if you like, the stuff that's happening at the top end. 15%, if you like, of the smaller production wines. I think what's almost as important, possibly more important, is what the big companies are going to do in the future. What are the prices they're going to pay for grapes? How are they going to premiumize the industry? So looking to companies like Distel, to GGB, to the KWV, to Vinimark, all of those people who are moving larger volumes of wine. And I think the leaders of tomorrow for the industry as a whole almost need to come from those companies. As well as, the younger guns. I mean, some of the younger guns are getting on a bit. They don't quite make me feel young, but some of them are getting close to my age, into their late 40s and 50s. So, you need to build an industry which isn't just focused on the young guns. It's focused on the whole, really. How do you promote the whole industry, not just a few funky people with surfboards and beards, however much fun they are. I think we need to build something bigger than that.